Don't let the days go by. Quarantine, don't let the days go by. Quarantine, I should have been easier on you, but it won't change though we want it to. Should have been easier by 3. Now we practice social distancing. That's our first hit. Welcome, everyone. Good Morning Lompoc.
Good Morning Lompoc.
Our second ever episode.
Yes.
Which we're scared to death again. Super nervous, but we're excited that you're joining us. And if you could shake it out with us. Michelle had an extra cup of coffee.
I did. I'm a little less nervous this time, which is good. And we got the camera situation figured out, so we're now looking at each other. So hopefully that lasts throughout the show.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
right.
That's weird.
I know, it is weird.
Oh, I didn't notice we did that. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, first off, we are just so grateful. We had no idea. We assumed just it would be our small circle of friends that would watch us live, but there's been a tremendous pouring out of support and excitement from the community and from people that we've never met or heard of before. So we're thrilled and excited and nervous and hopeful that we can provide some cool content and keep you entertained at least for a short while here on Wednesday in our quarantined studio here.
Yes.
Any shout outs or special thank yous that you want to talk about?
I'm sure, but I think I'm blanking at the moment. But I do want to say thank you to all the people who we don't know, and thank you so much for everybody who we do that shared and is sharing this with people that we haven't met before. So if we haven't met you before, we are the Balls, Michelle and Jeremy Ball, and we live here in Lompoc, and we have a small business. We create a lot of content and media for the wine industry mostly. And
if you're really curious, we're going to give ourselves a shout out. We own a company called Bottle Branding. You can see some of our work at bottlebranding.com.
Yes.
But right now, because things are super crazy and everyone has to stay at home, we decided to do something a little different. So that's why we're...
Yeah, so we wanted to find a way to keep ourselves busy, so we don't get too bored during this time, since obviously business is quiet, which it is for a lot of small businesses right now. And so we wanted to keep ourselves busy and find a way to stay connected and share positive stories about how people are getting by during this time. And so I guess a couple of the shout outs that we wanted to do was supporting your local restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants and even coffee shops like Southside that are doing curbside pickup. They've changed up their menu in order to be more accommodating to dine at home.
It's true. And if you're curious to know which restaurants in Lompoc, if you live in Lompoc, are doing curbside service or offering specials or any of those things, you can check out on the Lompoc Valley Chamber of Commerce website. They have a little list that they put together of the businesses that are open, serving food, and whether they do curbside, etc. So if you can, this industry, the restaurant industry, has been pretty decimated from what's happened here. So if you can support them, please do. They'll really appreciate that, and you will be well fed, I promise. So.
Yes. So where did we go yesterday?
So yesterday we went to 2 places, but one place that we're going to share. Sorry, we barely went to 2 places. We drove like 5 blocks away from our house and went right back home. We went to Sissy's to get some lunch during yesterday, which was the Great American Takeout.
Yes. So we'll play a quick little video that we did from Sissy's.
Headed to one of our favorite little local restaurants, which is called Sissy's. It's locally owned. It's super cute. And let's see, it's on this next street. And it is, today is Tuesday, which they're calling the Great American Takeout. Since most restaurants, if not all of them, are closed to in-house dining, we're going to go pick up our food.
All right.
I'll bring it right out.
Excellent. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm right out.
Cookies. Okay.
Bacon, turkey, and Cotswold sandwich with fries.
It's childproof. Yum. Perfect. All right.
Hey, that was so good. The sandwiches were so big. Thank you, Steve, owner of Bjork. The sandwiches were so big. We actually we ordered 2 sandwiches. We had 2 meals yesterday, which was really awesome, and it was so good and fresh local food. That was just great.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve, again for that. That was delicious. Support your local restaurants.
So next we're going to do kind of this is probably a random segue, but into, some of you are probably staying at home and getting a little bit bored. And I've always talked about making kombucha. I've been making kombucha for a few years now. And people always say, oh, it seems like it's a lot of work and I don't have time. And so now you have time. So I make a June kombucha, and that is it's like your classic kombucha, except it's made with, it's a culture that feeds on honey and green tea. And I'm assuming everybody's familiar with kombucha. It's like the new health soda, basically, but it is.
And it costs a bunch of money in the bottle, right? I mean,
yeah, it does.
At the store?
Yeah. So it costs a lot at the store, which is why it's great to make at home, and way cheaper to make at home. And so I get local honey as much as possible, because they do say local honey helps with allergies. And Lompoc Bean Shop carries a local honey.
They're that way.
Oh. That way?
No, I'm just kidding. Yes, they're like a block from our house. We're very lucky.
Yes, so they carry some great local honey, which I use, and then I get loose leaf green tea online. I prefer the jasmine loose leaf, because tea makes a difference. I've made it with just regular green tea before, and it's got kind of like a funky, earthy thing going on, which if you're into that, awesome.
So our recipe segment.
Yes. So I did a little video on how to make kombucha, and it also includes how to do the secondary fermentation, which scares a lot of people. And this is the simplest method. I used juice instead of creating some type of custom sweetener. But we can geek out on sweeteners for secondary. You could do hibiscus, you could do ginger. So you get to flavor your kombucha at the end to your palate.
Now, if somebody wants to try this at home after they watch the video, it can be a little bit complicated. It took Michelle 2 or 3 times to get it dialed in. But if you have, well, she's on.
No, it's easy.
She's done it 100
super
times
easy.
Okay.
The first batch came out great.
If you get stuck and you're overwhelmed and you think, oh my gosh, this is not as easy as I thought, then just message us. Michelle's so awesome. She'll help you and then give you some tutorials or some tips on how to make it happen. So let's check out the recipe video.
All right, here we go. Ingredients include honey, local if possible, green tea. I like to use jasmine, loose leaf green tea, and then your kombucha SCOBY culture. So this is what mine looks like. She's nice and hefty, healthy culture. And then this is what she produced on her last batch. So it doesn't always work out. Add 2 large tablespoons of loose leaf tea, and then pour over your hot water and steep for about 10 minutes, depending on how strong you like your tea. Add cold water to your gallon jar, and then add your tea, and then it should come to room temperature, cool enough to add your honey, because you don't want to kill the bacteria in the honey. Add 1 cup of honey, stir that around. Check the temperature. You don't want the SCOBY to be added if it's over 85 degrees. And then add about 1 cup of your liquid from your last batch. Cover it with a loose cloth, and you're going to let that ferment for 5 to 7 days. You taste and you decide when. Now, when it comes to bottling, there are a lot of different options. You can use screw caps, you can use flip top bottles, or you can just use beer bottles. In this case, you would need a crown capper. If you are recycling bottles and reusing them, you want to use something like PPW, which is available online and gets your bottles really, really clean so that you don't have any contamination. For secondary fermentation, measure out 100 milliliters of juice for every 900 milliliters of kombucha liquid. Mix that up and then just fill your bottles. No matter what kind of bottle you're using, you want to leave about 1/2 inch of headspace at the top. This allows the carbonation to build under pressure. And then I'm going to crown cap those, put them in a cardboard box. And the secondary fermentation is basically 1 to 3 days. It depends on how carbonated you like your kombucha. After that, you want to put it in the fridge to cold crash it and wait at least a day before you drink it. And the result is some nice bubbly kombucha at home. Look at all that fizz.
Nice.
So
kombucha.
2 things. You can get your SCOBY, which is it stands for a symbiotic community of bacteria and yeast, and that's that kind of placenta-looking thing that I was playing with.
Playful.
So you can get that from somebody who's already making kombucha. It usually produces 1 every batch. I showed you mine that was on the last batch, I think, because I overworked it because I did a 2-gallon batch on that one. but you can get it from somebody, but since we're social distancing and staying at home, you can also order it online. So I got mine from Kombucha Camp, and that's kombucha and camp with a K. And I'll also post the link if anybody needs it. And then one thing I didn't mention at the end, which is super important, is during secondary fermentation, you are building pressure in a vessel. And so glass obviously breaks. So as the carbonation continues to build, it will expand and it'll eventually explode. But not like a Molotov cocktail explosion. It'll be
that's the wrong direction.
I should say it'll just collapse. So we put it in the box so that if it does collapse, which has happened, the glass doesn't get everywhere, but you do get liquid on the floor, but the cardboard will absorb a lot of that. So very important to remember, but feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Cool. All right. Deep breath, everyone.
So one of the things that we were talking about, a lot of the teachers, so schools closed pretty suddenly. So it was definitely a quick transition. And I know some of the teachers didn't even get a chance to say, to tell their kids what was going on or their students what's going on. And so there was a lot of questions afterwards, like, why don't we get to come back to school, that the teacher never got to answer. So this was something that Jenny Kleindienst said to us. She is a second grade teacher over at Manzanita Charter School, and it's a public school in Vandenberg Village.
If I was still in school, I'd want to take her classes.
Maybe you should go back to school.
I think I'm too tall.
And hairy. You got all that facial hair. So where was I going with this? So she wanted to have a chance to answer that question because a lot of her kids had that question. And so she thought she'd put together a little video and maybe answer it for other kids who maybe had that question as well and wanted to share her response. So
awesome. Check it out.
This is Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Hi, Mrs. Kate. When do you think we'll be back at school?
Hi, Caroline. That's a really good question, and a question that a lot of people are asking. As soon as doctors and nurses have determined that it's safe to do so, we'll all be back together again. One reason we need to keep separated is because coronavirus likes to hop from person to person, and when we separate ourselves, we make it harder for the virus to get to us. I can assure you that your teachers and all of your friends miss you very much, but as soon as it's safe, we'll be able to hug and high five and see each other. You know, our brains were wired to do hard things. This is going to be a hard thing that you are going to do. Our brains were also wired to make connections with each other. That's why it's so hard, because we're missing the connection that we feel between our friends and our family and our teachers and those who love and care for us. Stay connected to each other. Call your friends, send them messages, wave through the window. Do everything you can to let them know that you still love and care about them. And in the end, when we've done this hard thing together, we'll all be able to celebrate.
All right. Thank you, Jenny. That was awesome.
Jenny, you're awesome. And let's not forget our teachers out there. This is really tough for them. They're used to interacting in person with the kids. So, if you see a teacher and you know a teacher, say thank you and help them get through this tough time too. So thank you again, Jenny, for that really special little video.
And Jenny's husband is the awesome firefighter that we talked about on Monday, Eric Kleindienst, who was out in front of Walmart helping people. Oh, wait, which camera? Sorry, I've got 4 cameras in the room. Helping people in front of Walmart with grocery shopping if they needed to. But he did post an update. One of the update is that I'll put that up there. Obviously, he wants to keep his family safe, and he is now doing deliveries. So if you are still in need of assistance, you can reach out to him on Facebook, or you can contact us. We can get you his contact information, and he will do a delivery straight to your house for groceries if you need it. So
awesome community workers. We appreciate that, and leading by example. And if you're a senior out there and you might need some help, feel free to message us. We can connect you with a few people and see if we can get you some help. I know it's really tough out there. I know for a lot of seniors, it's been years since anyone told them that they can't go outside in a lot of contexts. So let's be thoughtful. And if you need any help, please let us know, and we'll set you up.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we going next?
One last thing to mention for trying to figure out things to do with kids at home. Another teacher friend of ours, Kim Hurd, her and her husband own Life Chiropractic here in town. She found a link that basically took all the cool things that people are doing for kids online, like the virtual museums and science experiments and art classes and all that stuff, and they put it into one Google Doc, which is
a very organized
and
person.
she shared the link, and I'll post that as well. And I just did a quick scroll through here. Let's see. Yeah, so you just go to the website, it shows you there, then you click on the access the Google spreadsheet, and yeah,
cool.
So there's all kinds of stuff.
So parents running out of ideas, and you think, oh my gosh, are we going to do that thing again? Maybe there's some fresh inspiration on that page. So again, we're going to post the link afterwards. If we forget or you can't find it, please just message us and let us know. And that reminds me, please, if you haven't already gone to the Facebook page for Good Morning Lompoc and liked it, please do so and tell your friends. And if you know someone or you are not on Facebook, we're posting every video once we're done to YouTube, so you can look for Good Morning Lompoc on YouTube as well and find us there. So yeah, don't forget. Yeah. Where are we going?
So we need to stay in shape, right?
Yes.
We can't just like stay inside and get fat. So
we can.
Well, and you know, and that's the thing. You can't, if you don't want to go outside at all and you want to completely shelter in place, but you want to run. We found some fantastic inspiration for being able to run just inside your house and feel like you have a real treadmill.
And it's not very expensive.
I found this video, and it's I'll have to translate.
Yeah,
so one second.
Awesome. Michelle's going to help us understand this.
Yeah, so we put a little bit of soap on the floor and then drizzle a little bit of water, just a touch, just to mix the soap. And only use this if you have tile or hardwood.
Amazing translation.
And then hold on to something tight and just go ahead and start moving. Yes, that's it. That's it. You can get the hang of it. Maybe take one hand off for some ab support.
Lean forward.
Lean forward. Maybe do some arm raises. And you can go faster. Speed up the dial. Yep. Go. Wait, hold on.
Caution here. It's important.
God. I got nervous for a second. So
okay.
If they can't do that, what can they do? Do you want to?
Well, I mean, so that's just one option. Maybe we bring it back to something a little bit more safe and less risky for the wider audience.
And if you only have carpet at home, I think I wouldn't try that because it gets soggy and you'd have to replace the padding underneath the carpet, right?
Maybe they could use the bathroom floor.
Well, people have carpet in their bathroom.
Who has carpet on their bathroom floor?
I don't know. But
do you have carpet on your bathroom floor?
If you do,
it's okay if you do.
If you do have carpet, we've got a great workout for you. Taylor from CrossFit Ohana.
Her dad did the first video on her first show.
Yes.
This is his daughter Taylor, and she's gonna help us. It doesn't matter how old you are, but don't forget, young people, they need to exercise and stay active. So if you have kids and they're curious, have them watch this too. Thank you, Taylor, for doing this.
Thank you, Taylor.
All right, so this is our workout of the day. That's what WOD means. WOD means workout of the day. Our workout is you're going to do 1 squat, 1 sit-up, and 1 push-up. Then you're going to do 2 squats, 2 sit-ups, 2 push-ups, 3 squats, 3 sit-ups, and 3 push-ups, and so on till 8. And it's a 10-minute running clock, so there's not really like a big time limit. And you don't have to go all the way through it. You can do as many as you can in 10 minutes. All right, now we're gonna start. So you're gonna go 1 squat, 1 sit-up, and then 1 push-up. I can't do push-ups regularly, so I do them on my knees, like this.
Great
I'm out of
work,
breath.
Taylor.
I mean, I followed along the whole time. I don't know about you. I tried to keep up,
Party
but
was.
yeah, but my heart is racing. So
Taylor went really fast there at the end.
she
so.
did.
Anyway, thank you, Taylor. Thank you, CrossFit Ohana, for keeping us sane and active when we're trying to stay at home and get our blood pressure up a little bit and get moving. This is thank you for the guidance on that, Taylor. Okay, so as we've been doing every episode, we try to connect with the family and just touch base and connect and just communicate and have a conversation about the reality that we're all dealing with. So today's episode, we got a chance to talk with one of our favorite families, which is the Baillergeron. If I butchered that,
I thought we were just going to say their first names.
I know. So Katie, Marcel,
sorry.
and Miss Elia. And then if we messed it up, we'll post an apology. I promise.
I think it's Baillergeron.
Oh gosh, it's so complicated. Ball is a much easier name.
Yes.
But anyway, they're an
easier.
amazing family. Katie is a teacher down at UCSB. Marcel works in financial services in Santa Barbara. And then their daughter Elia is just an awesome little human. So anyway,
she's way smarter than both of us.
Yes.
So
and
soon she's going to be hosting the show because that would take a lot of pressure off.
We're going to do
Yeah.
out of a job. So one thing to remember is, what was I going to say about that? I forgot what I was going to say. I just had a brain fart right on.
Okay. Well, let's see what they had to say.
Yes.
So,
thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
What do parents say to kids when they don't know the answer to things? And has that come up where you guys are starting to communicate about why is certain things happening and how do you guys deal with that? I'm just curious.
As Elia mentioned, one of the new traditions that we have is we're taking Lola on walks in the evening.
She wants to jog?
But what I really appreciate is when Elia just kind of riffs and tells me everything about her day and all the things that she wants.
For my birthday, Lola.
What she wants for her birthday, what she wants, how she wants to a membership on, what
Prodigy.
is it? Prodigy.
Say hi to everybody who loves Prodigy.
But at the same time, then she starts telling me about the things that she thinks about related with the virus.
If you went to the hospital, no, you would not be on the TV.
And so that gives her an opportunity to just kind of ask questions without it being formatted. And it's a great time to do that. I really enjoy it.
And we talked as well, even before all the school closings. You know, she'd ask, because we talked about, I remember one day when I picked her up from school, there were other kids around too, and she said, "Mom, is coronavirus coming for us?" And the other kids stopped and listened, and I said, "Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to come here, yes, but you know, usually we're not going to be the ones who will suffer a lot from it. We might just get a little sick." But then you've asked about Grandma Babe, who's in her mid-90s.
Jeremy, I did want to say one more thing, was that she has asked me how long it's going to last and looking for certainty.
And it's been 18 months.
And so what I look at what the prognosticators are saying and how long it's lasted in China before it started to taper off. And so I've told her it's probably going to taper off in about 8 weeks, just based on what's out there, because if it's less than that, great. And then I've also told her that this is going to we're going to have some modified schedule for about 18 months. And so maybe.
We try to be honest as much as we can without being scary.
To some extent, we are kind of guessing until we get a little bit more answers. But in the meantime, we have a ton of family time. What happens when you get bored, Elia? Because that's probably going to happen.
Sometimes I just read a book, or if I haven't practiced my piano, which I have piano lessons.
1, 2, ready, go.
Oh, and we never said what grade you're in.
I'm in 2nd grade. I go to Buena Vista, and it's really fun there too, because you get to choose a day. You can probably go to the library. You can have reading buddies, and I really like to skip ahead in math. I'm just like this. Ooh, I'm done. and and it's really fun there. But now they have a big change. Like everything is closing down. I asked my mom and dad to go to a restaurant or get pizza, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, it's closing down."
Why did we make jam?
Well, we made jam to give it to all who gave things to us
and others.
Yes,
we've had a great community.
We've been getting flowers. We've also been getting fudge.
Yeah, we got fudge dropped off. People drop off
today.
flowers. We also got half a case of champagne of sparkling wine from somebody.
Sorry, Elia.
Yeah, she said, I don't know all this adult stuff.
What I'm seeing out in the streets, so when Elia and I went to the beach yesterday, I saw a lot more people walking around as families. I saw more joggers, more bicyclists, and a lot fewer cars. And so I'm also noticing more people than usual waving at each other. And so there is a sense of community that's happening. And so whether I look at it from the financial perspective or the community perspective, this is going to be a drastic shift in how we live moving forward. And so much like what happened after 9/11, life is going to change for both the better and the worse.
Is there anything else any of you guys would like to say?
So all we have to do is not touch our hair, our face, or like all that. And I'm sometimes glad that I don't have a sister. And I want a sister anyway.
That's for another show, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
That's a whole other topic.
Okay, we have to get back to work. We love you guys.
Bye, guys.
We love them. Here's our jam that they made. So I don't know if you can read that, but it says the bees lockdown, strawberry jam. We can do it. So anyway, thanks for that gesture and for agreeing to be on our show. You guys are awesome. Keep practicing the piano, Elia, and we'd love to have you guys back on sometime soon and maybe play a little piano for us.
Yes, and remember, just don't touch your face
like
with your
that.
hand, like with this, or like don't do that.
Don't do what Michelle just did.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any ideas for what you want to see on here, or you have cool stories to share, please reach out to us. We're definitely looking for content. We'll post a little something about maybe some parameters and stuff that we're looking for. But then
we're going to try. So next week, we want to introduce a couple of new things to the show, see if we can figure it out. But that's live interviews, which should be interesting. And then try to bring in some musical elements. And what else? I just want to keep you guys very entertained and excited about the show and excited to be in the town of Lompoc. Yep. And if you're not from Lompoc, that's okay. We're excited to have you here, and we'd love to show off our town. So. What can we expect for our next episode? We've been working our butts off to get to this one.
Cocktails in the morning, I think, will be the next episode.
And Michelle told me not to say this, but I have to because it's live and I'll get in trouble, but whatever. If we get some feedback or some responses in the affirmative, there's a chance that I can talk Michelle into going live at around, I don't know, between 4 and 6 on a Friday afternoon or evening, and just have a cocktail, maybe call it happy hour or something, and just hang out with you guys and talk for a bit. So if you like that idea and want to see us do that, please let us know that you're interested.
I'm way better with wines or drinks.
Wine's fine too.
I just
Any
need
drink,
to
water,
take the edge off. Just take it down a notch.
No soda.
Do you want to mention the thing that Salud Carvajal posted about the
there is thing? If you guys are if you're a small business or you're kind of concerned about what's happening right now and trying to stay up with the government, all the changes and new things that are happening, our local congressman Salud Carvajal put up a notice that there'll be a call-in meeting. I think that's
today.
That's today at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, just follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, he posted on there. So if you
need
a link to that or you're curious,
we'll post it too. It was too late for us to add to the show, but just wanted to mention it in case it's helpful. So
awesome. I think that's the end of our second show. I think it worked. Did it? Did it work? You guys like it? Does it work? Let us know.
Share it if you can. And thank you so much for all your support. And
thank you guys.
Please stay safe and stay healthy.
Friday morning, 8:30. Friday morning, 8:30. We'll see you guys then. Thank you so much. Have a great day.